Welcome everybody to a quick look at the latest Indicator box set, and that is Mexico Macabre. So this is a fourth Sinister Tales from the Alameda Films Vault from between 1959 and 1963. And all Mexican films, all horror films, and three of the four at least do sound rather great, and all three of those do have 3.0 or more average rating on Letterboxd. Only one of them is less than that, but none of these have had a massive amount of ratings on that site, despite how many millions of people are on that site. I don't think any one of the four have more than 1,000 ratings. So, yeah, rarely seen films, and once again, Indicator gives them a rarely seen films a wide release because this is one of 6,000 that are released in terms of the box set. But as per usual with the box sets from Indicator, they will get each film will get a single standard edition release as well. So let's take a look at the film. So the first one is called Black Pit of Dr. M. And they've kept the Spanish translation of each title on the actual cover work, which is really nice because obviously these are all Mexican films, all in Spanish, and therefore having the original titles only seems right to have. So this was released in 1959. I think it's directed by Fernando Mendes. Most of these star people I've never seen anything from before. There are a couple of people here and there I've seen at least one film from before, but I've not seen multiple films from anyone that is in these films. So unfortunately, that's just the way it is sometimes. So a horror show that your nerves may not be able to resist. So in terms of extras, this is a high definition remaster, original Spanish mono soundtrack, audio commentary with film programmer, curator, and Mexican horror cinema expert Abraham Castillo Flores. Preserving a legacy. You've got Daniel Berman Ripstein discusses the history of Mexico's celebrated Alameda Films and reflects on his relationship with his grandfather, the legendary producer and company founder Alfredo Ripstein, who also made a vital contribution to the preservation of Mexican cinema heritage. Both of those, well, all three of those, in fact, are from this year. Then you got The Black Pit of Dr. Mendes. Eduardo de la Vega Alfaro, academic and author of Fernando Mendes, 1908 to 1966, discusses the life and career of the pioneering filmmaker. It's also from this year. You get the original Spanish language theatrical trailer, image gallery, new and improved English transitional translation subtitles, and it's the world premiere of this on Blu-ray. So not only is this first time in the UK, but worldwide as well. So again, that is a really nice thing to come out of this. So let's see inside. So, not read up much of these. Like I said, I only really looked at the average ratings on Letterboxd just to get a kind of general gist of the kind of reception of these from those who have actually seen it. And then we have The Witch's Mirror, again with the Spanish translation there on the front. So death is lurking and it's after you. So this again looks like a really rather interesting film. See the interior. These Indicator always do these really nice, cardboard cases. They've done them many a time with their film noir releases, and it's nice to see that they're continuing them with these. So again, another high definition remaster. Again, the original Spanish mono soundtrack. Oh, you've actually got the alternative English mono soundtrack. So this actually had a dub, which I'm surprised by. It's got audio commentary with film historian and Mexican cinema specialist David Wilt. You got Rosita Arenas at Mexico Maleficarum from 2022. The celebrated actor in conversation with film programmer, curator, and resurrector of 20th century Mexican horror cinema, Abraham Castillo Flores. Filmed at the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures in October 2022. You got Mondo Macabro, Mexican horror movies from 2001, an episode of Pete Toombs and Andy Stark's fondly remembered British television series, providing an overview of Mexican genre cinema from the 1950s to the 1970s. Got original Spanish language theatrical trailer, image gallery, new and improved English translation subtitles for the Spanish soundtrack, and the same for the English subtitles for the English soundtrack, and it's again a world premiere on Blu-ray. So yeah, again, this looks really rather interesting. I love the artwork, especially with the skeleton there hanging in the background, and yeah, looks really rather interesting. And then number 3, we have the Brainiac. So this looks like the more campy, gimmicky kind of film. It's also the one with the lowest letterbox rating out of 5 on average, which doesn't give me the highest of hopes, especially since some of these films can be all cover and no substance. Saw this with Crusoe, the Beast of the Amazon, and a couple of other of these kind of films from that kind of period. So yeah, thirsty for revenge, possessed by irrepressible fury, the minutes of his enemies are numbered. So yeah, I forgot to tell you the running time. So the first one was 82 minutes, second one was 76 minutes, and this one is 77 minutes. So not the shortest, but not the longest either. And yeah, this again, high definition remaster, original Spanish mono soundtrack. Again, this has the alternative English mono soundtrack. You got audio commentary and brain nibbling with publisher from Parts Unknown and screenwriter of Los Campeones de la Lucha Libre, Keith J. Rainville from 2023. You got Que Viva Chano from 2023, academic and author and film scholar Eduardo de la Vega Alfaro discusses the upbringing and unique path of avant-garde, multi-talented iconologist Chano Urita, who directed this. Got the original Spanish language theatrical trailer, image galleries, with rare fotovela contemporary to the film release, with new accompanying English translation and promotional and publicity material. You got new and improved English translation for subtitles for the Spanish soundtrack, again with the English soundtrack, and again a world premiere on Blu-ray. So yeah, this is from 1962. The previous one was from 1962 as well. And yeah, that's the interior. So the monster doesn't look like the highest production value monster ever made, but maybe that would be added to the charm of the thing. And then finally, from 1963, clocking in at 80 minutes long, so this is the second longest. So yeah, that means the first film, Black Pit of Dr. M, is the longest by 2 minutes. And this is The Curse of the Crying Woman. So this isn't the first time a Mexican film has dealt with this subject matter, more commonly known as La Llorona, with Indicator themselves released a 1930s version of The Crying Woman, alongside The Phantom of the Monastery. And yeah, I found it decent. I certainly didn't enjoy it as much as The Phantom of the Monastery, but it was a decent enough film. So yeah, hopefully this is even better than that effort. And yeah, she'll return to the earth once more in a ball of fire and pain. So yeah, that sounds like a nice title. And there's the interior. Maybe that's The Crying Woman, who knows. So yeah, again, another high definition remaster, another original Spanish mono soundtrack, again another alternative English mono soundtrack. So it's only the Black Pit of Dr. M that doesn't have any English mono soundtrack on it. Audio commentary with academic and Latin American horror specialist Valeria Villegas Linville, also known as Marina do Fuego, from 2023. Again, I am so sorry if I'm butchering any of these names. I am not the best at pronouncing names. Then you got The Daughters of La Llorona from 2023. Actor, producer, and singer Julieta de Lona Macedo and author Cecilia Fuentes Macedo remember the peculiar relationship they had with their mother, Mexican screen icon Rita Macedo. So yeah, she's in this one. This is directed by Rafael Baladon, by the way, which he did. Yeah, he's the only one that's done one of these. Fernando Mendez did the first one, and Chano Aritia did these two. So yeah, 3 directors across 4 films. But yeah, Rita Macedo, I'm not sure if she was in any of these other ones. I swear I saw her name somewhere in one of these. Probably imagining it, I guess. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, it's just a case that I've not heard of many of these actors, so maybe I'm just trying to hopefully find a connection between the two. I know there's one guy in 3 of these films, and he also produced 3 of them as well, which we'll get to in a minute. And yeah, you got Daydreams and Nightmares, also from 2023. Academic author and film scholar Eduardo de la Vega Alfaro discusses a prolific career of actor, writer, producer, director Rafael Baladon. And you also got original Spanish language theatrical trailer, image gallery, again new translation subtitles for the English and Spanish soundtrack, and again world premiere on Blu-ray. So yeah, Abel Salazar is the guy that we're going to be talking about as well, as he's in a few of these. He was in this one, as you can see. Abel Salazar is there, and he was also in one of these other ones. I don't think he was in a big enough role to be mentioned on the covers, but he's definitely in one of the other ones. And as you can see, produced by Abel Salazar, and produced by Abel Salazar. Where is it? There. So yeah, he's a prolific producer and actor, apparently from Mexico. So yeah, as per usual, you do get the hard box like you've already seen, which has all of the extras on it. Gives you the titles of the films in English and Spanish, as well as their length, their aspect ratios, their year of release, and the colour they're in. But all of these are in black and white. Curse of the Crying Woman, by the way, was made in 1961, but it wasn't released for whatever reason until 1963. And yeah, as per usual, you also get a really big booklet with this. So yeah, not sure how many pages this is. It's at least 97 pages, so quite a hefty amount. So yeah, that's from, which film's this one from? We saw it earlier on one of the discs. Yeah, this is from The Witch's Mirror, this photograph. Not sure who this is, probably one of the director that's had two of the films that he's directed here. Could well as easily be Abel Salazar though as well. So yeah, in terms of the actual contents of the booklet, you get credits and crew and all that lot for each of the films, but you also get the reinterpretation of terror, cinematografía, absa, and Mexican Gothic. Jose Luis Ortega Torres, the write-up from him. You got the anonymity of the Mexican monster makers, Abraham Castillo Flores, also from this year. Then you got Mexican Monsters Invade the USA Slowly by David Wilt, also from this year. And then you got Importation Mexploitation by Andrew Snyder and Dolores Tiani from 2005. And then you got The Obituary of Abel Salazar by David Wilt from 1995. I can see why they brought David Wilt in then, because he did The Obituary way back then. So yeah, and then you got About the Presentations, indicator credits, and then you got shots from the film as well. So some mild spoilers for those, but yeah, these are always interesting write-ups to read through. So yeah, highly recommend doing so if you've bought this one. And as per usual with these releases, I will be reviewing each individual film. I like to do it with these box sets purely because, like I said, these box sets have amazing artwork, and it's always nice to see them on their own and talk about them on their own. But unlike with other indicator box sets where you usually just get, the box, a booklet, and each film in its own case, and the nice little wraparound that goes around the bottom of it and all that lot, which again has the case of all the individual films and how many of how many you've got. So I've got 163 out of 6,000. And yeah, it gets on the sides there and the ratings and all that lot. But for the first time ever in an indicator box set, we get art cards, which yeah is a first. They're not mega special or anything like that. They're not like new artwork or out, but they are still really, really nicely done. So yeah, and they are essentially a mix of poster and a screenshot from the film. Yeah, which is a nice change from the usual, really, which is usually one or the other, never really at the same time. So yeah, nice to see, quite frankly. And finally, so yeah, I'm massively impressed with the presentation of this, but then again, I usually am with indicator releases. Their box sets are just second to none in terms of the physical presentation of the films, and yeah, the box always looks great. especially with the artwork, the feel of the thing. It feels solid and all that lot. And yeah, you really do get your money's worth of these efforts. Now, granted, it's not just about the physical presentation of the release. Obviously, it comes down to whether or not the films are any good. But we'll find that out when I review each of the films. And with the last film, I will do a roundup of my favourites in order and my general thoughts of the box set. But I've never been disappointed with a box set from Indicator before. Their Columbia Noir box sets, all 5 of them were excellent. The Universal Noir #1 box set was really good. Hopefully we'll get more of them Universal Noir box sets in the future. So yeah, and yeah, other box sets as well, like William Castle, the Fuller box set, one of the Hammer Horror box sets as well. All of them have excelled in terms of the presentation, and yeah, the films in general have also been really, really good. There's been a couple of misses, but generally, especially in terms of the film noir ones, they've been A-OK, top of the line, great films. So hopefully that's the case for most of these, and yeah, really, really glad I finally got it, because it was initially delayed. It was supposed to come out last month. I say last month like it was a year ago or whatever, but it wasn't. Yeah, it was only a few days ago that it was actually supposed to be released. I think it was the 28th or the 29th. That got pushed back to the 12th of June. But luckily I've got that a little bit sooner than that. So yeah, I think it was warehouse issues or something like that, so which initially delayed it, but because he thought they couldn't get it out in time. But clearly they've got it out as close as possible, which is mightily impressive. So yeah, if you've seen any of these 4 films before, then I'd like to hear your thoughts on them, because yeah, I'm not overly familiar with Mexican horror. I have had my run-ins with Mexican horror, but yeah, these 4 are hopefully going to be really, really good. And when I say I've had run-ins with Mexican horror, obviously I have The Phantom of the Monastery, which was released alongside that other version of La Llorona, but this is easily the best of the 2. And yeah, I've also had the Carlos Enrique Taboada box set from Vinegar Syndrome, which again, not all horror films. I think it's called Rapina, was sort of a thriller, but the other 2 were horror, and yeah, they were excellent as well. So yeah, I'm really enjoying all of these foreign language films, especially in terms of horror, that have been coming out lately, because yeah, that Taboada box set was this year, and this is obviously this year. So yeah, more of them, quite frankly. So yeah, nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.